Ladies and gentlemen, he needs no introduction. I'm grabbing him while he's making some moves. He's traveling. Congratulations to Ward 8 Councilman Trayon White, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, brother? What's up, man?
So this right here, Trayon is DC, a chocolate city story. So it's this thing that's been sitting on me for a while now, as far as a way to highlight real Washingtonians and the real people that are coming from the district, the real DC from back in the day. So this is a way to take a trip back. So first of all, congratulations. Is this is this a 3-peat?
Nah, 2-peat. Yeah, 2-peat.
Back,
yeah, back to back. Yeah.
Strong. So how you feeling? Like what's like the temperature? I mean, today the Black Lives Matter plaza, like they're right there leading up to the White House. So what's your like take on just the energy of DC right now?
I just feel like, man, I saw everyone I'm gonna be honest with you, Flex. You know how we do
it.
Oh,
please do. That's what this is for.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people, posting about the new street, Black Lives Matter in the street, the sign going up, but that's all symbolic, man. I visited men that's in the jail that's victims of this oppression in Washington, D.C. I just saw my man just came home, he was falsely accused of a homicide he didn't commit. He just came home, what, two months ago, from around Congress Park. So, it's just the injustices that we're receiving. It's incomparable to some paint on the street. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't get involved in all the, the symbolism, bro. I always keep it 100.
It's the real with you, like the people that are dying, like for real. So
yeah.
So Ward 8.
You gotta bring my man Wap on, man, from around the park so he can tell his story, man.
Please, and that's what. And Trayon, I want to just open up to you to tell you that that's what this is about. Is me getting references from you guys that are native Washingtonians. So please, all your suggestions of people that make the most sense for this Chocolate City story. So, Great Ward 8, Great Ward 8. Tell me about Great Ward 8. Well, that's your backyard, and my thing is that I want you to go back to when Trayon White was growing up in the Chocolate City.
So it's home for me, man. It's a lot of community, a lot of love, a lot of envy, a lot of strife, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. A lot of stories to tell. I was born in '84, so in the '90s, late '80s, it was going down in DC, and somehow by the grace of God, I survived about 4 different waves.
Amen.
And so part of my story has been my grandmother was the backbone of the family.
Right.
I come from a large family. My great-grandmother had 13 kids. My great-grandfather had 22 kids. In fact, I was just on a reunion on this call last. Ty was on there. Ty Stunner's father was on there. Trayon White. Trayon White.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm learning my family even as time progresses, man.
So hold on. So you and Stunner are related.
Yep.
Look at that. And I plan on getting Stunner on to talk about the MLK Deli and just his come up in DC as well. For
sure. Yeah. So I guess for me, just coming up, man, trying to find wiggle room.
Yeah.
Gravitated to, trying to fit in early on. A lot of the young men like myself, we were in an identity crisis. But somehow we played at number 11 Boys and Girls Club. We had good men and good ladies that gave us strong role modeling and father figuring. They kind of gave us some guidance. Some of us took the guidance, but a lot of us didn't make it, man. I see you got the museum hat on. Shout out to G Mogul. He one of the ones that made it.
Right.
And we battled with a little more went in from up 14th and Clifton all our life.
So talk, because I know that you guys y'all are family. So my thing is you being a southeast boy, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, no question.
Mo is he's an uptown slinger. And then Twin G Mogul, he's where Twin from? Uptown too?
He's from Southeast.
Oh yeah, Southeast, of course. So my thing is, was there any like growing up like in the 80s and the 90s of the Chocolate City, was there a clear not to say beef, but a clear disconnect between Uptown and when it comes to Southeast, or was it? And when did that like collectiveness come together, where y'all just gonna rep DC as a whole?
Nah, well, you know, back in the day, the skating ring was the great neutralizer. You know, you had the black hole, you had the skating ring. So that's the only time we really saw each other unless we went to school together. And right. I never went to school uptown outside of going to Webb, and that was really no feast. But we ain't really had no beef. And my the people I hung around, we had so much going on to get to school. We had to walk past 3-4 neighborhoods to get to school. We was less concerned about uptown. You know, uptown, that was something in the far back of my mind.
Yeah, right.
You know, and sports always gave a lot of our guys passes. You know, we was very active coming up in sports, and that gave us a lot of passes when it came to the street and the gunplay. And so that's saved and spared a lot of us. And it made a lot of us friends from different neighborhoods. Right. Yeah, guys that's from the farms that was cool with guys from up Conaturs to the Valley Green to Ball Eagle to Wingate, you know, to down Chopper City. Coming up through number 11 was like a club all in, it's like a fraternity all in itself, you know. Man. So it was a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing, man. Chocolate City in the 90s. So then where did you, as you started to come into your own as an adult, when did you see that moment that DC is like shaking it up nationwide and making a lot of noise, and people are really giving DC its just due for the great city that it is?
I think only in the last 10 years, really. You know, I think that we've been expanding our go-go culture around the world. Right. We've been expanding our clothing line around the world. We've been expanding our music. We got some national artists now that's finally getting some traction on the big scene. We have some who got some early on and it fell off. But, you know, I guess for me, DC, we've always had our own place. You know, people have always tried to implement or copy what we said and did. Right. You know, and I think that, you know, with the information age, it's kind of a lot of mixing going on back and forth. So, you know, that caused a lot of collateral damage in the culture in itself. But
I'm sure.
Yeah, I just stay true, you know.
You just stay true, and that's why you're the back-to-back councilman of your backyard, man. Like that feeling, that's the true definition of a hometown hero, like to the little thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you right there.
What's up, Miles? I see Miles Rose here from the infamous Goodman League.
And it's funny you say that, because when I was coming up with this platform of Chocolate City, his name was always mentioned. So Miles, I gotta holler at you, man. I heard that you that guy when it comes to for DC. So Miles, let's talk, man. But challenges in Ward 8 and challenges, like what challenges do you see that's gonna be like on the forefront of your tenure this go around?
Man, part of the real challenge is changing the poverty mindset of our people. You know, it's like when we don't value ourselves, it's hard to get somebody to value somebody else's life when they don't fully value their life and know who they are. I started the conversation off early on talking about how me as a young man, even today, other young men and young ladies for that matter, are in an identity crisis, and they're adapting to, you know, learned behavior. Right. As a result, you know, skipping school is popular, smoking weed is popular, busting guns and pulling up and hopping out and spinning bins is popular. And as a result, it's detrimental. Like, for example, what we don't value in our own community, other people value. Like, we leave bullet holes in cars and buildings in the streets and ride off, go get a sandwich and go back in the house. Well, other people see that as prime time real estate.
So it's the perspective. It's the
And that represents a population that need the resources the most, that participate the least. So that's what my whole movement, my whole campaign has been about. My slogan is don't just stand there, do something.
Do something.
And so we know the problems we have, but we can't get to a solution until we all get together on one mindset, because we got more in common than we do apart. And we have to figure out what those commonalities are. And we don't have a lot of time to figure it out.
No, the time is now. The time is very well right now. Do you see, from your perspective, do you see any type of
G?
I see Twin in here, G in here. Do you see any type of disconnect between the new generation and the old school generation in DC, coming from Chocolate City days? Like, do you see those OGs that you guys grew up with back in the 80s and the 90s? Do you see that now that the new generation is coming up and they doing their thing and they're vibrant. Do you see any type of disconnect, or do you see a strong unity in that?
For me personally, absolutely. As a young political figure in the district, like, you know, I came up underneath of Marion Barry in the later part of his life. I was able to glean some of the things from him. Actually, I was writing about him today, and I remember he was teaching me that the power lies in the people. And I was just reflecting on that. And one of the things I see today, like a lot of the older people who are in the community, they don't come back and push back and give to the movement. They see me as a threat to what they're doing. I'm like, you know, I'm the council member. There's nothing you can't get around it. You know what I'm saying?
You're here to activate and maintain. How could you possibly be a threat? You know?
And together we're stronger. Like, you got some tools, some gifts, some ideology, some philosophy, some ways of life that work for you that may be beneficial to me. Well, I don't have to stump my toe and make those decisions again. But like I was reading yesterday, a lady, she said that Trayon White is a hoodlum. I said, hoodlum? That's a heavy topic.
Yeah.
There are millions of black mothers across the nation that wish they had a black son that went to college, grad school, law school, graduated in the top 15% of the university. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Care my family, you know, and it's like, man, to degrade a young black man like that. This was a lady who had 3 black boys. You know, I was like, you gotta stop tearing down out, and they didn't really hurt me because I'm secure in who God said I am and who God says who I am. So I don't really, but it's like, you know, a lot of people took the offense to that, but that's the mindset of a lot of the older people, you know. They like, you know, I got locks in my head, so they think that that's an intimidation on thugs. But back in the day, they had afros, so it's all the
question. Where's the difference? It just comes back around, but in a different form, right?
The question.
So you
absolutely.
You don't smoke, don't drink, so that takes me to. So what is Trayon White's vices? Like, is it Netflix? Is it like what? Like, because sometimes when you think about it, of course, people know you, Trayon White, from the neighborhood, but sometimes when you propel and your trajectory into your purpose, which is what you're doing right now as councilman, sometimes people just see that and forget that you wake up every day and you get to it. So what does like a down day look like for Trayon White? Or like, what's some of your vices, your fun vices, to just keep you sane and keep you leveled?
I guess for me, one of the vices I use, I go to therapy, man. Every week I go to therapy.
Twin said your vice is love. Twin said your vice is love.
Yeah, love, prayer. Yeah. I'm a very spiritual person, so I pray a lot. I like to ride my bike. I do that. I be around my kids. You know, I like to put the boys all together in the car. We go out, we do us. I like to be around my family. I got a large family of cousins. You know, I like to hang with them. I'm pretty plain and simple, bro. I don't have a lot going on, you know.
Simple guy. I mean, that just help.
I got some other probably unhealthy vices, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that all night. Yeah. But so you being so, are you that man, that black man that looks at the chocolate city from a lens that crosses from so many generations? Because like you said, you was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, then here goes the 2000s. Where's Chocolate City going in your eyes? Because we know that gentrification has been happening. So DC was one of the main first places that I started to hear years ago, you know, like 8th Street. And I talked to the good man, Tony Lewis Jr. on Monday, and he was telling me that, 8th Street, like, that used to be a situation back in the day. And it's hard from out of town, right? And me coming into DC for the past 7-8 years, I look at 8th Street as one, like a Soho of New York, like a real nice place to walk your dog, the hipster vibe. So what do you, where do you see the Chocolate City in the next like 5 to 10 years with all of this gentrification? Like, how do we keep that Chocolate City pride alive for the future?
Well, DC used to be 78% African American. Now there's less than 48% African American. I think we keep it alive by pushing our people to first own our own businesses in our community. Like, if we can control the business in our community, and we're gonna lose in the long run.
Right.
The second thing is we got to push our people to own our own properties in our own community, because if we don't live here, you don't have no say so, no power. You can't vote, you can't participate, you know. And so that's very, very important. So a couple of things I've been doing was working through this thing called the Douglas Community Land Trust, which allows people to buy houses at a more affordable rate. Instead of paying $500,000 hypothetically for a house, you essentially pay $350, keeping it affordable over long periods of time. And so we're working on stuff like that. I'm working on displacement-free zones to freeze the taxes in and around areas hardest hit by development, because, you know, we need development in our community, but when it comes to development, the price of living goes up. And so I have some legislation.
Everything is connected, right? So you have to, right.
Absolutely. And we got to stop killing each other, man. We had a, you know, what's the date? What's today's date?
Today, 5th.
I know. What day of the week is this?
Friday.
Friday. Okay, Friday. So we probably
the councilman been ripping and running, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
it's been a great week.
We probably had about, in Ward 8 alone, we probably had about 6 people shot this week. You know what I'm saying?
Shot, killed.
Well, not everybody died, but
right.
See, one of the things we talk about in the city, we say the homicide rate is down. Homicide, but you know, with modern technology, we have 2 ambulatory services. A lot of people are surviving gun wounds, but last year we had over 500 people shot. But we're just gonna say we had 120 some people, whatever the number is, homicide rate. But no, we had 500 people shot in DC.
And just that amount of gun activity is just a lot in a week or so time. So like that definitely has to get under subjection, because DC has so much, not even potential anymore. DC is well on the map. Everybody knows about the nation's capital, but the chocolate city, I feel like, has never went away. You know, for a while it's been about the nation's capital, but there's always a Southeast DC. There's always an uptown, like in your heart, right? So what's the legacy of Chocolate City when it comes to Trayon White, from your perspective? Like, when it's all said and done?
Part of my legacy is to build up a strong, small Black businesses. Like we just put through the leadership of King McDuffie, Robert White, myself, even the chairman, and then the mayor came on board. We helped save 3 Black businesses on MLK right before the coronavirus hit, you know. And we plan on doing a lot more of that and to preserve, because what we don't want to look up, and we look like 8th Street, where there's a lot of new business coming in, but majority of the business that was there originally no longer exists anymore.
Right.
Because there's so many, you know, new business fees, new cleaning team fees, there's so many taxes that you're not even generating enough revenue to stay relevant and receive profit. And so we're doing a lot of that throughout Ward 8. And be honest, people that can't afford to live anywhere else in Washington, D.C. are navigating east of the Anacostia River. People with some of the same issues, you know, housing insecurities, financial insecurities, mental health services, substance abuse issues, all piling up on each other. And that's why we have these series of explosions over and over again. And so we're trying to reverse some of that culture, and it takes a lot of time and energy, man.
Councilman, I feel like you know why your mission is so strong, because as you're talking, I feel like you focus on getting to the blueprint of the problem, meaning so that you can tackle everything else. So how important is that for you to always try to find out the root of the problem and then work from there? Because that's what I feel like you are rooted in.
It's a tough thing, but it's doable. But it's hard to explain to people, because people want to feel, how is my life personally changing, right? And that's what it comes down to, you know. And when I ran the first time, I wanted to build some recreation centers. You know, we came up, we had Hot had a rec that's closed, or had a rec that's closed, Ketchum had a rec that's closed, and Anacostia had a rec that's closed, Blue had a rec that's closed, number 11 Boys and Girls Club closed. And we wonder why the children are out in the streets, defenseless, trying to fend for themselves, because we removed the things that keep them constructive. And now they're doing stuff destructive. And we're saying, oh, the next generation is out of control. No, the government created that.
Oh.
And so as a result of that, we are building 4 state-of-the-art brand new recreation centers right here in Ward 8. within the next 2 years in the pipeline, and that ain't easy work.
It's not. So what does it take? So if it's not easy work, what would you say to the people that to galvanize so that we could get together and make sure that we stay on track with your mission?
It takes people power, because I have to convince my other colleagues to make sure we keep the money in the budget to keep these projects going. I have to sit down with Mayor Bowser, City Administrator Rashad Young, Deputy Mayor Phil Checchio to get this stuff in the budget. Like the seniors wanted a new senior living facility. Right now we're building 3 new senior living facilities in Ward 8. So I'm not just talking the talk, but using my political will, my charisma, my influence, and the power of the people to come down and testify. Gotta put it all up, to make this stuff happen, man. So it's doable.
Yeah.
The government just moves so slow, man.
So how do you tackle that? Like, how do you navigate through that? That there needs to be a more, faster approach to tackle these things, but yet the system sometimes has its way of where you got to go through this, that, and that, and then we're wasting time type of a effect happens, right? How do you balance that so that you stay leveled in your position and in your role for DC?
Man, for real, sometimes in street language, sometimes I got to turn up and kirk off. I got to kirk off, bro. I got to kirk off. Like, come on, nah, we ain't going to keep playing with this.
And I'm sure that that's like the toned down version of what they get, right?
So I won't be on the news, man. I can stand on somebody's table acting crazy. Like, we need our stuff, and we need it not now, but right now.
Yo.
Yeah.
There's a question in here. I'm gonna throw it up here. Shout out to Golden Brown Fox. How can the late 80s and the early 90s survivors communicate with this aggressive, misguided generation? That's a good question.
You communicate through love.
Right.
And people feel a genuine heart, because guess what? Those our kids. That's my nephew. That's my little cousin. That's her son that I grew up with.
Right.
So they're not that far disconnected from us. What is only 6 degrees of separation?
Right. And DC is to what, 10 by 10?
It's probably 3. So you got to come in love, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You know what I'm saying?
So you got to care. So they have to feel you first.
Yeah, they got to feel you.
Right.
Because they looking for an outlet. They looking for something.
Right. So look, Councilman, I know that you ripping and running, getting stuff done at work. So just 2 more points. You mentioned, one of your vices being a father. So Father's Day is actually right around the corner. If I'm not mistaken, it's next week Sunday. So we don't want to miss that. I know there's so much going on in the world right now, rightfully so. And next week Sunday being Father's Day, what does Trayon White want for Father's Day? What does Father's Day mean to you? Being a father.
It means a lot to me. I'm a father of a new baby girl, and this is new.
Congratulations on
that. Thank you, brother. New baby girl. You got kids?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I can't wait though.
All right, we're gonna talk about that later. Offline.
Yeah.
So, that's me. I have a son, and I have a lot of surgeons. Like, one of my best friends, he was killed, was gunned down in Southeast, so I take care of his son as well. So I get the kids together. I get the mothers together, get the wives together, man. We get together and serve and love each other, man, and be around family, I've been a little under the weather lately, so I've been trying to figure out, how to do that going into Father's Day. So, I'm trying to, figure out something better to do this year. This year, my daughter will be 1 year old on July the 10th.
Wow.
So it's new. It's a new life for me, man. My son is 11, about to be 12. So
yeah. So that's gonna be big bro gonna take care of little sis, man. That's a good 10, 11 years. Space between that, but the family strong, everybody healthy, everybody good during this time.
Yeah, we good, man. We just I just took a COVID-19 test, so hopefully that come back good, man. I am feeling a little stressed physically, so
I'm sure
this will be my 3rd test. So
this is your 3rd test.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure that it was a stressful. And my final at this point, because I'm gonna let you go, is the election. The election, like for those that don't understand or don't know, you know, what that entails in like a 2-minute blurb or 3-minute blurb, can you give a condensed version of how much running an election takes, like physically, mentally, and just that whole process, especially winning back to back? I mean,
Yeah.
that's remarkable.
So first of all, thank you to all the candidates across the district, man, that competed to want to make their lives, their community, their city a better place to live. And that's noble, no matter if you won, lost, or still undecided. I think that's noble because I've experienced it myself, you know, and I've lost an election before by allegedly 71 votes, but it takes a strain on your mental capacity to even function
71?
normally, to even think, huh?
71.
Yeah, that's what he said, man. You know, there's a little trickery going on, man. But
Yeah, but
71.
look now, back to back
Yeah.
White. We call it back to back White.
I gotta get a shirt made then.
Back to back White, man.
Hashtag Flexxa.
There you go. But not.
Yeah, so it's like physically, it's a lot. It affects your relationships with your loved one, with your mate, your kids. Financially, it requires a lot of you financially. If you put your own money into your campaign,
right?
You out there in the streets, sun up to sundown. You talking to people. You extremely exhausted, man. Like I started this campaign in January.
And think about it. You had to start it in the midst of COVID, and then now the protest. Like it's just so much going on.
Yeah.
You stayed leveled, and you kept your blinders on, and you did it.
Yeah, and I still got to be the councilman, but deal with all the other issues that happen in between, to the gunshots, to the fires, to the virtual graduations NDB and I did for the 2020 graduates, and so we keep it going, man. But it's only through the grace of God to give me the strength, man. I pray a lot, I fast, you know. I keep my CMOS, I keep my elderberry.
Shout out to Trey. I done doubled up on my CMOS from the good man Trey.
Yeah.
Real talk, man. So look, Sir Trayon White, Sir Councilman, congratulations again. Get your rest. We need you healthy, so we need you to take all your necessary precautions because we need you out there in Ward 8 and just the greater world ahead, man. So
Flexxa, man. I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. DC, a Chocolate City Story, ladies and gentlemen, Chapter 3. Congratulations, Councilman White, man.
Okay, I see badass.
Yeah, shout out to do your shout outs, man. If you saw anybody in here, you know.
I saw Miles. I seen G.
Yeah, you know G.
What was that?
Twin.
Yeah, I'm saying. Oh, what was that? That's Joy. He cleaning my cars, man. That's my man. Y'all check him out. His Instagram, Big Blood _Lucy. But he got busting tuds. That's his Instagram, man. He cleaned my car for me. Make sure I'm tighten right.
Who Golden Brown? Twin saying, who Golden Brown? Golden Brown.
Golden Brown, the one who asked the question?
Oh yeah, the one that asked the question, Twin.
She's talking about healthy eating, healthy cleansing.
Yeah, man.
Man, Flexxa, you the man.
I love, yo, Alizé. Oh, Alizé up in here. Yo, I'm having the DJ edition, Alizé, so I got to talk to you, man. Chocolate City, you one of the legends. I got to get with you, man.
What G talk about, man?
Twin being twin. Let Twin be. But look, ladies and gentlemen, the museum will be live and direct back here at 6 p.m. Monday for Chapter 4, the museum, a landmark. All right? See you guys on Monday, man, 6 p.m. the museum. Thank you, White. Congratulations, and take care of that. Take care of that, man.
Yes, sir.
Love you, man.
All right, King.